All right, ladies and gentlemen, the movie has finally come out as of this recording. We've actually taken the time to watch it, and where do we begin?
Well, I assume at the beginning.
Well, you know what? If nothing else, it's going to give us plenty to talk about as we go through Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers 2!
Yep, for the NES. As we promised, we're going to do a playthrough of this game as a means to, talk about the movie and, maybe talk about the game in its own right, because it's essentially a continuation of what the first game pretty much pulled off. It's still a run and throw sort of game, and I mean, actually, it's funny too because this game came out like a few years after the original show's run. Like all they were doing were reruns by this point. But that all being said, one thing that the game actually tries doing beyond the first game is that it has a more expanded story. So it took a few cues from like the later Mega Man games that put a little more focus on that as well.
Yep, with fully fleshed out cutscenes. Oh boy, blimp. Fat Cat in his iconic Fat Cat blimp has escaped Fat Cat prison.
He's escaped the Fat Feds, and he's become the Fat Cat once again.
Special bulletin.
Special bulletin. Wait, who's talking? The newscaster or the special bulletin?
I don't know. You be who? You be you. Oh,
I
the bomb.
say that unless the time bomb can be found, the restaurant could be destroyed. That's quite an escalation.
Yeah, I forgot that Fat Cat could just be a terrorist. And
whoa, a time bomb!
Are you gonna speed up your voice?
I mean, I'll try.
Chip, what is it?
Oh my god.
No, I'm not gonna. What is it?
If there's one thing I will give the movie, I appreciate they still kept Tress's gadget.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can talk about that. Yeah, so immediate disclosure. We are going to be talking excessively and extensively about the movie, so please expect any and all spoilers about the movie, which can be viewed on Disney Plus. We are not sponsored.
Yeah. Also, real quick, like, not even just gadget. Like, if you listen closely, like the few times that it pops up, like when Chip has his old voice back, that is also Tress.
I figured that was the case, which I mean, I don't know. I do appreciate that they let Tress be, still be her, but wouldn't it have been a little, nicer if everyone else still got to be their respective voices? I mean, I'm pretty sure either Peter or Jim were still acting by the point. I mean, hell, Jim still has a few characters.
Right, he's right
there.
Exactly. In the thing.
Like, I guess the only... Oh, sorry.
But that's gonna dive into things that we have a lot of general statements. So, how about we... Oh, hey, Zipper.
Hey, Zipper.
Congrats.
Yeah, seriously, congratulations, you lucky son of a gun, you.
And hey, Dale. Okay, so while he's doing that...
May I comment real quick? Yes. I think it's just the sprite work, but it makes Dale's head look really big.
It does.
Well, Chip also has a really big-looking head here, too.
Well, Chip, to his credit, at least has a hat to cover it.
I was about to start my afternoon nap.
I don't know why, but when you guys were reading this dialogue, I was heavily expecting, like, since we were going to be talking to the movie for a good chunk of this, that you guys were just going to straight up use John Mulaney and Andy Samberg impressions.
I cannot do an impression of that.
I couldn't do that to save my own skin. also in the news, Fat Cat, the notorious feline felon...
Say that 2 times fast.
...escaped from from prison last night.
You're doing that thing like that one Aristocats cat when he gets all mad, like... Anyway.
Okay, enough lollygagging, stupid. Let's play the game.
That's a square-looking sandwich there, like Devil Damn.
That is...
And you can still pick up your partner like before. Oh, and I guess I should quick disclosure, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let the back guard fool you. We're actually not playing this via the collection, even though we totally have the means to do so. Right. We're making an exception with this game because during a test run, it kicked our asses.
Oh yeah, this is like it got like deceptively merciless in like some of the later levels.
So for the sake of this game and this game only, we're cheating.
Yes.
So you may have noticed right now, look at our lives at the given moment.
2 and 8.
I have 2 lives, and Dale is lucky enough... I blame the CG surgery.
It's really all about adding in those extra pounds.
Now watch this. I'll fall down like an absolute klutz. That should be more so Dale's shtick. But in the process, I still have my 2 lives. We're pretty much working with infinite lives for this game, just because we're not doing this to be professional. We're here just to talk about a movie and just, rant it as much as we feel like, and just, say that we did it anyway.
Yeah. Well, because absolutely, just like the movie, I cannot escape this hell. No. Okay.
Well,
One thing that is worth one thing that is worth mentioning about the game, though, is that you may have noticed shown all throughout the level are these icons that are based on the age-old Rescue Rangers insignia.
Yes.
And if you collect a certain amount of them, your health does extend. Kind of like they're kind of like heart pieces. If you had to collect like a shit ton of them.
They're like heart pieces if they had the same function as like coins.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah, another thing regarding this game, I forget if it was in the original game either, but this version of the game makes more of a mention of it. If the item you're carrying flashes, you do like a super throw, which can more or less pierce through everything, and not have to worry about dickheads like that deflect it.
Yeah, so
I think that might be an addition for 2, because I don't remember there being a mechanic like that in the first game.
Right. Other than that, that's pretty much the primary things that this game has over the original. Otherwise, it more or less does play like the original.
It operates very much in the same thing. I will also say that the color sprite work feels a little bit bolder here than it did in the original.
A little. There are definitely cases where I feel like the introduction values are a little better. On the other hand, though, I definitely do think there is a bit more of a charm to the original game. So take that for what you will.
But we'll say right now, some of the problems that we had faced that were the reason why we decided, was that very much similarly to the original game. If one of us dies, that's it. You're out of the game for the entire playthrough. Exactly, and we don't want to risk that again.
Right.
We just want to have a
Again, we're not here to do this seriously. We're literally playing as fucking chipmunks.
You know, that's something that I will admit is weird, that, like, for the sequel, that they didn't take into account the idea of, fixing that one problem the first game had.
Yeah, tell me about it. So, while we're getting close to...
Monty's whole job in this game is to fully heal up our heroes whenever they reach them.
What did he throw there? It didn't look like cheese. It kind of looked more like cookies.
Danish.
I think that's exactly what they are.
Oh, and we have some fun little boss battles.
All right, spill it. Who set the time bomb?
Who set us up the bomb?
I did,
said Water Rabbit.
That kid asked me to create a diversion, and it's white.
Oh no.
No way. Fat Cat's in prison.
Not anymore. Sorry, but my neurons had to reactivate. He broke out last night.
I almost wish his speech bubble just said, no. Oh.
It's like, let go of my uncle. No. I was not prepared for that.
Say that. I love that scene because freaking Glomgold, his expression doesn't even change. He just turns, no. Anyway,
find it yourself. Ha ha ha.
So all right. If this is how this is supposed to set up, where I am the Dale and James is the Chip, and
hey, let go of me, stupid.
Okay, and hype is our moderator
is our everyone else.
Yes. How about we start talking? First off, let's talk about general thoughts on the movie in order of importance. That being Chip, that being James, hype, and then Dale. That being me.
Ow. Alright, so, oh boy, where do I begin? So, I will say, it's not quite as bad at the dumpster fire as I was led to believe it would be.
Right.
It's still it's one of those movies where I think the idea behind it and some of the other background details they were able to get away with is the most interesting part of the movie. Otherwise, I can't believe I honestly have to agree with Danny 8-Bit on this one. It feels like a really played out Dorkly short made into a movie.
I can kind of agree with that. In fact,
a bad Dorkly short to be actually
right. Oh no, there's a lot.
Dorkly shorts.
There used to be a couple decent ones, but otherwise, yeah, it is mostly crap.
Oh, one of my favorite ones I think I told you it's still the one that they did for College Humor, where it was all of the villains giving a pep talk to all of their minions. And it was basically the same, like that one I liked. That one felt...
I mean, I also do remember, like, again, for College Humor, there was the one where all of Bowser's mooks were planning to, resign from Bowser.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then there was the one where Bowser just straight up guilt-tripped Mario for using the warp whistle.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah, so the whole point of this minigame is that it's like the one time they bring back the ball from the original game, you throw it up and hope it can collide with those stars to earn you some lives.
Ah, well.
You didn't hit any of them, though.
No, we did not.
Yeah, so we failed.
Well, Gadget, did you find the bomb?
Oh! Here's the bomb.
That's not good.
Look, it has a blue wire and a red wire.
and a mahogany wire, and
We have to cut one of the wires to defuse it.
Well, James, what path will you take us down?
So this is like one of the rare few times, if not the only time, they actually give us a choice of what we can do with this dumb thing.
We're doomed.
I figured that went without saying, Sugar Hog.
Uh-oh. So
Which one should I cut?
there is a slight difference between what happens depending on which one you cut.
And I need a reminder. Is this random every time?
No. Let's just throw caution to the wind.
Well, just to be safe state.
No. I'll tell you right now, hype spoilers. No matter what, you'll still continue. They're not gonna put a game
Eeny, meeny,
over.
miny, mo, catch a sailor by the toe. If he hollers, let Pluto go.
Okay, blue wire. Yeah, no, they're not gonna put. Don't worry, hype. They're not gonna put a game over on the result of a coin toss.
Okay, here goes.
Blue wire.
Oh,
Hi.
I guess that was the right one.
Like, what would have happened if you did clip the wrong one?
It would have exploded, and Dale would have been seen like with stars over his head, and they would have thought that he had been killed, but in fact he had just passed out from fear.
Ah.
So anyway.
we missed the funny one.
Again, it's complete. I forgot if it happened with the blue or the red. I just know that's one of the two outcomes. Anyway, Fat Cat wants an ancient urn. We gotta stop him again. While
He
we're doing
wants
that,
himself an urn so we can have a bath time plaything. Because I think that's what an urn is, right?
that's not at all what an urn is. That's actually that'd be very bad.
Speaking of bath time fun, welcome to the sewer.
Yes,
Okay.
I know, Gadget. Real quick. Yes, I know Gadget doesn't sound like this in the show. You make it sound like I care at this point.
So okay, so we already heard a little bit.
God.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, you can still do this from the original game. Kind of feels weird that for some reason the transparency on this is, a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess just real quick before you continue, Logan, were there any other things that you wanted to say about the movie before you passed over, James?
Well, James started. That's why I was then going to.
Well, that's why I was asking him if he had anything else left to say.
oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, like
General
I said,
statements for now.
it's interesting but awkward. That's pretty much my tagline for the entire movie. It's interesting but awkward. Worth at least maybe one watch if you're very curious.
Gotcha.
So while that's now happening, I'm gonna say that it was definitely better than I thought it was. So the quick little history lesson is that the movie came out in late May, and then suddenly in early May or late April, we suddenly got a 4chan leak that supposedly now what happened was that 4chan leak was information regarding
An earlier draft?
an early draft that was in a test screening for the movie that did so poorly they had to scrap everything and try to oh gosh, I get it already.
Jeez.
But
in some ways, I'm kind of keeping character from the movie, which is actually one thing I'll definitely say against the movie. I fucking hated shit for the good, the first half of the movie.
the tone and stuff. So the whole idea is that
Oh boy.
So
I
the
have
whole
no idea who this guy is.
so the whole problem was that it's setting him up like he's that's right. We need to stay close enough to him so that he launches it so it hits the ground.
Right.
Then you can pick it up. Anyway, but we'll be fine. Just brute force it. But anyway, it's trying to do the whole they're trying to do the whole disillusioned Hollywood thing, and look at that.
Nice catch, Dale.
Thank you, Bubba. But yeah, beyond that, and again, it was basically just Disney flashing, hey, this is what we can do under the right of parody. So, okay, let's talk about how that original premise was concerned. So, the original draft was that the big villain was supposed to be, I guess, Pluto, which there was a connection there, being that
Oh, Dale?
I'm okay. The connection being that Pluto was jealous that Chip and Dale had gotten their own TV show syndication when they had both started off doing these little shorts back and forth. And of course, they would have actually canonically, in Disney terms, they would have actually addressed the issue of
Pluto being typecast as a genuine dog.
Yes, which again, it sounds like something that I would have expected from an Adult Swim or SNL bit.
Not just that, but the whole thing of Pluto being the one to be so sick of Chip and Dale's crap is kind of weird, considering I can't think of that many shorts where the two actually, worked off of each other in such a way.
Right.
Like, I figured if you're gonna do, like, a whole villain, like, if you're gonna make a villain for a Chip and Dale-related something, especially in that fashion, probably would have made more sense to use Donald Duck.
Yeah, like there, I think they're in direct opposition.
Because Donald has had a terrible history with Chip and Dale, and I mean, granted, it's all for the better, considering how, Donald's the one that gets stuck with all the bad luck and whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, that opens up another question. Would you have been open for Donald going through that exact same villain shtick they were originally going to put Pluto through?
Is it sad that I can say with all certainty, yes?
So back
because he's always had a bit of a, for lack of a better word, jealousy phase. Not even just with, well, I mean, granted, it's most especially evident when, they pair him up with Mickey Mouse.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I can totally see them playing off of that with, Chip and Dale and whatnot.
Yeah, no, you're right, that is fair.
Oh, hello, a baseball.
Hey!
Oh.
Okay, yeah, that's
Let's
fair.
play baseball.
Well,
Oh, yeah, I was supposed to...
Actually, hold on.
Now
One more
what?
time.
It's supposed to go
Let's
up.
play baseball.
Yum.
and they're like, now what?
Now we're going here.
Now we can see Monty.
Hey, Monty, we get to get ourselves some cheese.
There you go.
Danish
Enjoy.
things.
Enjoy these cheese crack... Cheese.
Don't. So, who voiced Monterey in the movie?
In the movie, Eric Bana. And I'm going to assume I want to say he's like not like a celebrity, but not exactly a voice actor either. And I'm going to assume the only reason they went for him instead of Jim is that they probably wanted an actor that was closer to Peter Cullen's voice than Jim's.
He was a fine enough Monterey, though. I was okay with him.
I mean, yeah, he was okay. He was all right.
So, so let's talk about the reason why even if it was Pluto, even if it was Donald, even what we got, which we'll talk about that in a little bit, is the plot of the villain was actually kind of the weasel.
Yeah, the weasel and
The drinking weasel.
Was that
he's got a drinking problem and breath is hot as fire.
volatile? But yeah, no. So the problem that I have with the movie in terms of like its villain plot is it is actually it's one of those plots where if you actually like put thought into what's happening, it is actually one of the I forgot to move. It is one of the most dark plots that a Disney movie has ever had to it.
Dark and honestly somewhat tactless.
So well, the part that I find dark is what is the villain's plan? So the villain's plan is essentially, hi, I'm going to just take that hit. I'm going to kidnap and blackmail other animated cartoons so that I can then forcibly disfigure them. And then now that I've made a disfigured toon, I'm going to now force them into slave labor. Like, when you actually think about that, you're like, huh, yeah, that is kind of screwed up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not even just any kind of slave labor. Apparently, they get sold off to be bootleg cartoon characters.
Like, outside, like, overseas. Like, the whole thing was like...
Even though later on it was more or less clarified that, that whole thing was just a urban myth. They actually do all the bootleg stuff directly from their city.
Right there. Right then and there, where no one would ever expect it. But yeah, just in general, it's just... Ugh. So
it's one of those things where, not for nothing, it's an interesting idea, but also kind of just... Not exactly the most appropriate place to do it.
It's definitely not where I would have expected a Rescue Rangers thing to have gone. Dang,
Yeah, that does lead me to a point that I want to talk about, but I do want to wait until you're finished with your thoughts.
So I just okay, other positives. I like that the human character Ellie did not hijack the plot as much as I thought that she was going to. Again, that may have been due to the rewrites that initial test screening, helped draw things back.
Maybe.
J.K. Simmons' character was fun.
Mm-hmm.
And
remind me, was he the Play-Doh cop?
Yeah, he was the Play-Doh cop,
buddy.
which that's another thing I will say. I'm surprised with how many mediums that they cover with it. Like, not just like CGI and 2D animation, but they actually like the stop motion and like the various
Puppets.
other forms of like non-live action media. Like it was surprising how much they touched on that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is fine and all, but I still can't excuse them for, cheaping out on Chip and, all the other players.
And it's most blatant when they're at something like FanCon, where you have actual 2D characters interacting with what is supposed to be another 2D character, and it's sloppy that they thought people weren't going to catch on to. Then
the
lights are
Hello.
on.
Also, hey there, fat cat. Why weren't you in?
Why weren't you in the movie?
Kind of shame you got shafted for a good majority of the movie, huh?
Well, you see, I'm losing my joke. I'll get back to it later.
Okay, we'll put a pin in it.
Yeah,
Actually,
which, in retrospect, a part of me does feel like the whole, discussed, like, DV's plan they had in the movie really does feel like something Fat Cat would do, which makes me kind of question why they didn't just make him the villain as well.
yeah, you know what? That was just a straight up missed point. There, not even just the villain. There was zero. First of all, there was zero suspicion on Fat Cat from Chip or Dale yet. Like, none of them even said, you know what, I bet Fat Cat would have done something like this just to finally get back to me. Like, there's not even, they didn't even go as far as to address, where is Fat Cat now?
Like, the most you get after, like, that, this admittedly decent, like, intro reimagination of one of the episodes.
Right.
I know for the final transformation, that they pretty much spoiled in the first trailer.
Yeah, which they need to stop doing that.
The head of that amalgamation is supposed to be a fat cat.
Oh, okay.
Which is weird because the little ponytail he has on his head looks like one of the Aristocats.
Right, it looks like Marie or whatever her name was. But,
Oh, that's right. Real quick, for this level, we're under a time limit.
Oh,
we have to make it within 3 minutes, otherwise we'll be frozen solid, because we're technically in an oversized icebox.
Oh.
Okay, so I'm just gonna completely just throw caution to the wind and just go, freaking go crazy with this. So, let's see. Beyond that, Seth Rogen's characters, it was fine enough. Okay, I will say this one thing, though. And I'm not, bear in mind, I did not grow up, bear in mind, I did not grow up with Rescue Rangers, so I'm not in the demographic to actually be upset about it. Like, oh boy, 4chan was very upset about it.
I mean, I didn't grow up with it either, but I've definitely watched a handful of episodes, for these past couple of years, and it's like, I'll still say, like, the show itself does still hold up very well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I had kids, I'd probably let them watch a handful of episodes.
Which, thank goodness, you can watch all the episodes. They are all on Disney Plus still. But, so here's the thing that...
Although, unfortunately, in Disney Plus's case, they do that stupid thing of trying to fake widescreen it.
Oh, no.
Oh,
so
okay. For a minute,
straight in.
For a minute, I thought you were talking about the thing where they have the episodes out of order, because I know that they have that with Darkwing Duck as well.
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's why we need actual numbers. But anyway, no, so the problem is that... Well, not the problem. The thing that definitely surprised people was that, so there is a... Yeah, I finally got one. So,
Oh, yeah, real quick, and going back to the game, Fat Cat has actually put that urn into action. He unleashed a whole shit ton of ghosts.
The Urn of the Pharaoh has now revealed the Egyptian specters that lie within. And we just have to go to the warehouse and kick their butts and hopefully stop a ghost. But, and yeah, Dale is not happy to go against ghosts. Sorry, Dale.
I feel like if this was the movie, Dale, he'd be a lot more, eccentric to actually do it.
Oh, that's okay, and that's a big problem. Not a big problem. That's a big thing is that Dale is absolutely the more gung-ho of the two, and Chip is the more reluctant one, which
I mean, isn't too terribly dissimilar to the actual characters themselves, because Dale was always the more, eccentric yet, really naive type.
But like,
if not outright stupid.
But I felt like Chip at least wanted to do the right thing and wouldn't have just given up just to,
Oh, absolutely, of course.
Well,
which again does feed into my whole problem with Chip as a character in the movie. Like, first off, they treat him very he's super fucking
Cynical.
Oh yeah, no, he is absolutely cynical to a damning degree. I'd honestly say.
Well,
Speaking of which, sorry, Dale.
Sorry,
Dale.
Oh boy. Oh, okay, good.
Reap what we sow.
If we pause, we're still okay, right? Yeah, okay, we're okay.
Hey, okay.
We just need to be careful not to... And yeah, that was the other reason that gave us a little bit of a stumper was that for the most part, because of the new engine and stuff, some of these levels are longer, and unfortunately this has the same problem as Chip and Dale 1, which is unless you get to a new screen, there are no
Checkpoints?
There are no checkpoints in a level.
Yep. Just, yeah, no, like, it's one of those cases where, I mean, both games are hard, and I wouldn't be, honestly, this game isn't that much harder than the original. Maybe it's, in some ways, it's a little easier, but, you know, I'd rather not take the chance. I just want to get this done just to say that we did.
Yeah.
Also, again, we're primarily using this as an excuse to talk about the movie, now that it's out, and we've actually seen it.
But yeah, so the thing that I will agree with some viewers of the movie is that it is very odd to me that that Disney was making fun of Ugly Sonic as honestly a way larger main character than I thought they were going to give him. Nice.
That is something.
I mean,
if I can interrupt real quick, that is something that I've noticed. Like, between that and both the Wreck-It Ralph films, there must be some Disney executive that really loves Sonic, because whenever they have Sonic cameo on something, he's usually there for a reasonably longer time than he has a right to.
Oh, fun fact, hype.
I mean, to be fair, honestly, I'd say he like, with this movie, this is the longest he actually gets.
Oh yeah, no, and fun fact, hype.
Kind of think of that, I don't even remember doing this.
What the heck do
Are
we
we
do
even
with
supposed to be
this?
here?
Yeah, what's your fun fact?
Disney didn't even, because of the way they handled that Ugly Sonic thing, they didn't actually have to pay Sega or Paramount a dime.
Oh, there we go.
How the hell are you supposed to figure that out?
That's what? Okay, real talk. We didn't experience this ever, so I don't know what the heck's going on.
What is this?
Wait, is this a versus mode?
I think so, and I want to try and get Cause what happens if I? Oh yeah, because I can't leave. Oh, so yeah.
Well, what's with the coins there?
I don't know.
Oh, I get it. We're supposed to take them our way. I think.
We're gonna find out together.
Okay. Ow.
What happens now?
Stupid.
Ow! Hey, stupid!
Oh, yeah, well, you're stupid.
You're stupid.
I
Okay, you won. Okay, that's what it was.
But what was? Choose a
Now
box?
you get to choose a box.
Oh. Okay. Well,
What was I in the second box?
I think it might be continue.
I want.
Well, choose one.
If you're looking for the continue, it's in the far left.
Yay!
So you
Can't
want to
pick
grab
it
it
up?
or not?
I did. I think it's just. I think the timer is just waiting for me to actually like confirm it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that
just-
was something.
That just happened.
Huh.
That was something. Okay. Well.
I mean, hey, you know what? There is a first for everything.
Yep, we're just gonna move forward with this then. So the thing that got the whole internet or on 4chan really uppity was that they revealed some character development and one of
Oh,
them,
you know what, Logan? Take that tangent for as long as you absolutely need to, because this fight drags.
by all means. So the problem was that out of nowhere they revealed that Gadget and Zipper got busy.
Well, I wouldn't say like out of nowhere, because they did say it like a bit early into the movie.
Well, they had
yeah,
the plot, but how to say this? Yes. I don't care how long it takes them to reveal it. Put me down. I don't care how long it takes them to reveal it. Hype. It was revealed, and everyone was like, "Well, first off, okay. So I'm gonna throw some opinions at you, Hype. Assuming you've watched Rescue Rangers. And
I've seen it. It's not. I'd be lying if I said it was the Disney afternoon show I watched the most growing up, but I have seen like chunks of it.
Okay, so between you and James, I want to ask a few questions that may or may not be validated or expounded upon here. First of all,
Sure.
would you consider Zipper to basically be the dog or the mascot of the team and not even like meant to be a sentient person?
I'd say he had enough sentience, but otherwise, yeah, he was kind of like the character who, he didn't exactly talk.
He was basically a dog. I'm not sure is the right comparison. Then again, I don't know if what I'm about to say is in the
I think the best way to describe him is that he was more or less the enforcer of the group.
Okay. The raw muscle.
More or less. Even more so than Monterey, depending on the situation.
Fair enough. Hey!
Oh, look at that. We did it!
Hey! Oh my gosh, I was actually really close because we were close to both dying. So that happened. Number one, the second thing people were saying was that it's very weird that Disney was trying to make fun of ugly Sonic as like, oh my gosh, look at this body horror, it's so weird, like animation thing. And then in the same breath, no less than like 2 scenes later, give us their 42 mousefly hybrid children straight-faced and say, this is okay. When everyone's
Well,
like,
that, to
wait
be
a
fair,
minute.
that I think is more so meant to be a joke than anything, or at the very least, like, if not a joke, then something that you're not supposed to think too deeply on, or not intended to think too deeply on.
Well, for the audience demographic that this movie was made for, it's gonna happen. And but as a benefit, I do, and James was there with me as well as I appreciate that when they were shown, they didn't go for the trope that I've seen too many other things go for, where it's like one of them is overweight, hair curlers in the hair, going like, will you shut up already? Like dysfunctional, aggressive household, like.
Oh yeah, no, they actually made for a pretty supportive pair.
It seemed nice, like, Zipper was a stay-at-home dad, taking care of each and every one of those lovely abominations against God and Satan. And actually, now we have one. Now we're getting close to the finale, but as part of this finale, we actually have one other choice to make here.
Yep, this is where the last couple of levels will be found, and here is where we're actually going to get a choice of which one we want to tackle. Now, granted, we will have to do all of them, but the difference is that we can choose whatever order we want to do them in.
Is there a recommended order?
Not really.
So, Hype, do you want to pick where should we go first? The Big Thunder Mountain, the big base to the left,
Or Clock Tower.
or Clock Tower, the horror game?
You know what? I'm gonna be very blunt here. Considering a particular person that appears in the movie, I feel like it'd be fitting if we start with the Clock Tower.
Okay.
Alright, Clock Tower it is. We're heading straight to Clock Tower.
So, when we mentioned that it used to be Pluto who was going to be the villain, and they had to very swiftly, hopefully, retool that so that it would not upset people as much, they went with the path of least resistance. And unfortunately, the path of least resistance, while trying to give them a justifiable reason for being the new villain, ended up being very tasteless.
Like, granted,
in contrast-
considering the time gap that they had to go with, like, I got the impression that they had very little time to actually do their research, so, like, at best, it was just a very unfortunate coincidence, but...
I mean, to be fair, wasn't he already planned to be in the movie anyway?
Well, my guess is, from what it sounds like, what was supposed to happen was, because there was still that subtitle thing with Mean Dean, I
Right.
think they changed his name to not, because I think that is actually a decent point, is with all the it was only the animated characters ever referred to him as Sweet Pete. They never called him, like, I don't think any human characters ever called him that. They just called the Valley Gang or whatever. Or maybe they did ADR, but basically, I think the whole point was he was supposed to be originally called Mean Dean, who just dressed like that because it was like something he's found or whatever. So he was. My guess.
That's right. He technically was supposed to just be a
Pluto in disguise.
disguise actor.
Again, Pluto was really supposed to be Scrappy Doo Part 2.0. So, I mean, yeah. So again, the path leads resistance is you have this guy who looks like Peter Pan in the movie. I am being very sloppy right now. Sorry. Why not
You're
make
fine.
him Peter Pan?
Oops.
And-
Okay. In your defense, that was kind of my fault.
It's okay. And that was
Now,
my
that was your fault.
the problem was that the characterization they went for was that he was a washed-up child actor, and Peter Pan's actor was a washed-up child actor.
Yeah, it's like, I feel like
horrible
if it
spiral
wasn't for that
conspiracies.
unfortunate factoid, it would work, because, gonna be blunt here, that is something that happens regularly in the entertainment industry with child actors. But the fact that it was Peter Pan specifically, and what ended up happening with Peter Pan's actor specifically, it was one of those things where it's like, I'm genuinely surprised Disney was okay with them doing it.
Well, again, with only a month to go, and with only a month to rewrite this all, I think you're right. I think what they were focusing on was, child actors are honestly, unfortunately, overused. Look no further than even like the most recent Lion King, where they grabbed an influencer off of YouTube to be young Simba without realizing he actually couldn't act. Oops, sorry.
Ow.
Oops.
Sorry. So I get that. That is an absolutely valid point to argue, but they could not have picked the worst unfortunate coincidence to be done. And even so, people made the argument of, Disney, you could even argue that Peter Pan wasn't even the first time that Disney had done this. Like, Disney has unfortunately not had the best track history with child actors. Like, not even with like High School Musical, just for starters. Careful. Alright. Yeah, no, so that was...
You'd be amazed what all you can get away with when you have that much power.
Yes! But yeah, no, so it's... Here's gonna be my final statement on the Peter Pan thing, then sorry, then I'm done, and then Hype, you can do your thing while we...
My heart grew 2 sizes that day.
Whoa.
Oh.
But yeah, then you can...
I think you should have that looked at. I don't know it's supposed to get bigger than that.
Yeah, then you can do your thing, Hype. Sorry, I've been kind of like...
No, you're fine.
A lot of this. Close. Is that... Thank you, Gadget. We found one of the key cards. Now, if we can take this into a freezer and again into a heater, we'll be able to access all of the access codes.
Wrong game, Logan.
Okay. Alright, let's go to...
So, where do you think we should go next?
I say Big Thunder Mountain, because that's my least favorite level in this entire game, actually.
So we'll put a big Thunder Mountain on top of it.
So this is the problem. Western World is going to be a unique instance where it's more platforming than anything else once we get to the train car, and our infinite lives thing, although will still work and we will have infinite continues, we won't be able to brute force it as much because it'll be like Donkey Kong, you know, unless you're on tip of your game, you know, it's gonna suck. Anyway, my last statement to make about the movie, it was a fun enough watch. Was not expecting Obelix.
Yeah, I mean...
for what little that amounted to.
I know.
I mean, again, you'd be surprised with what all they were able to get away with in that movie.
But,
That is also true. Like, I was genuinely surprised with how many cameos that they put into that movie. Like, especially non-Disney cameos. Like, they had a Looney Tunes show up inadvertently.
Yeah. So, what I'm going to say is the problem with this is...
Also, the bootleg Simpsons, which turned out to be much better animated than actual Simpsons.
Seriously. And Pete, who I realize now, he wasn't even bootlegged, he was just Pete.
He was only just Pete as the Sultan.
It's 11. Anyway, no.
Or not the Sultan, he was freaking...
he was Aladdin.
I can
show you the world. So here's my
shining, shimmering splendor.
Okay, continue, Logan, quick.
Is that there we go. Is that my last big thing I'll say is I can't I can't say for certain what's gonna happen. Do I think they're going to stop advertising Peter Pan? All right, here we go.
Oh, I doubt it. If anything, I feel like they're just going to use the reception of Chip and Dale to more or less denounce it in every way entirely, and again use it as an excuse to force in some probably unnecessary layoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, and when we say disown, we mean the Chip and Dale movie itself. There's no way they're gonna disown Peter Pan, because that has too much of a cultural impact.
Seriously.
But yeah, the problem is okay. Hang on. And...
why do you think they have such an iron grip on Mickey Mouse? You know, probably their most
Beloved.
tight grip character they don't do nothing with.
I know. I want to do more Mickey. I want more Mickey shorts. How long until we get the freaking Magic World of Mickey again?
The next one is the next
summer
one's the
one.
summer one, right?
Correct.
Yeah, should be.
So that's hopefully next. It should be in the next month or so, hopefully.
And true to form, save for like the obvious Lucky Emblem, I don't think Mickey has any sort of cameo in the Chip and Dale movie.
Yeah, no, they keep him distinct enough from it. But yeah, no. So the problem was that. Oh my gosh, one more. So the problem. All I can say is that they are idiots if they think that. Unfortunately, from this point forward, I'm sorry. I don't know why I did that.
Okay, now they're idiots if
they think.
Oops.
If they think that they can advertise Peter Pan for the next 2 to 3 years and not have somebody bring this movie up as oh, Peter Pan, I remember that guy who tried to make forced disfigured slave labor. He's my favorite Disney character, and every Disney executive is like, I'm back. Every Disney executive is like, ooh. We have how many theme park rides and movies and TV shows based around this character still?
Well, I mean, like, I feel like aside from people, pessimistically bringing it up, I don't think it's gonna put that big a dent on, like, Peter Pan himself.
Probably not.
Yeah, okay, fine, okay.
Then again, how many people are actually, still thinking about Peter Pan today, aside from, obvious, diehard like historians.
So hey,
I guess it's fair.
are you have you gotten tired of the boss idea where we have a boss throw something at you that you have to throw back at him? Good.
Yeah, that is honestly something I feel a little silly for not bringing this up sooner, but for Chip and Dale I do find it kind of weird that instead of bringing back the red balls just as an easy enough means to, always have something to throw at the boss at all times, they make it so you kind of have to play the waiting game.
That's
yeah,
fair.
depending on what attack they use, it can sometimes take a little while.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Let's see. Beyond that, soundtrack is okay, and
I mean, at least the movie, aside from, well, the movie itself didn't have any place to put in that god-awful
rap
trailer music that they were using for the whole
Oh yeah, I'm a
campaign.
bad bitch or whatever, like just out of nowhere.
Yeah, again, I'm still shocked they actually thought that was a good idea to use as trailer music for a Disney movie.
I'm just gonna throw this out
Let alone
there.
something based on Chip and Dale.
And I'm just gonna throw this out there, Lonely Island writers. Especially in the case of the rapping single, sorry. Just because you tell the audience, man, this is so dumb, they should not have characters do this. Just because you say that doesn't give you the pass to then do that. Just because you're saying, boy, isn't this dumb, that doesn't make the joke smart anymore. It's just
Exactly.
still dumb. Also, finally, I got my first rescue
And honestly,
logo.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Anyway.
I mean, just, doing stuff like that doesn't really, make you any smarter, just makes you look desperate.
Right. Damn.
Oh, yeah.
So, that all said, second card obtained. I have nothing really else to say. I'm glad it wasn't a total dumpster fire, and there were still some moments that were fun. There is a lot of cute little pause and blink and you'll miss it, like a lot of fun little references here and there throughout.
Can I just say real quick before Hype gets to his whole opinion on the movie?
Yeah.
That your whole conversation regarding the whole thing literally took up 2/3 of this entire playthrough.
I'm sorry.
He has a lot to say.
I didn't.
I mean, to be fair, it's a lot worth saying.
It's a whole.
I couldn't help but make the observation anyway.
Sorry. Okay, I did have one last thing to say. Is that you said that
Of course, no worries.
You said that it felt like a dorkly short, and the more I think about
it, I'm pretty much paraphrasing from my friend Danny, who was watching the movie himself, and he said it's literally like watching a bad Dorkly short, and it's like, yeah, no, I have to agree. It pretty much just feels like a Dorkly short if it was extended to movie length.
And I was gonna say, you say that, what it feels like to me, and the more I think about it, the more I believe it. To me, it feels more like an extended Robot Chicken segment.
I mean, honestly, it's funny too, because unless I'm mistaken, aren't some of the writers involved in that movie people that primarily made skits for the recent season of Saturday Night Live?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, the director, the director especially.
Which, yeah, really says a lot, honestly.
It's unfortunate. And the guy apparently has done decent movies, according to Matt. He said Hot Rod, but I don't know if that actually was a good movie or. Oh no!
No!
That was
No!
that was like the worst thing I could have done.
Oh, no.
With my dying breath, I curse Zoid.
What the?
This is Zoidberg.
This is your fault, stupid!
What? Oh no, we actually made it. Okay,
Oh no, wait,
we hit the
we're
level
actually ahead.
transition.
Never mind.
Okay. I take
Dale,
it back.
you're a
You're not
genius.
stupid.
No, in fact, you're. You know what? I'll give you a not stupid for a day badge.
Yay!
I can't wait to put it on the fridge.
Yeah. In fact, there it is right now.
Oh. I saw first. I cannot. Thank you.
I think you have to throw one of each. There you go.
That worked. But yeah, that's about all I have. Decent enough movie. Probably will never watch it again unless I really need
Agreed.
to show somebody it. Hype, what do you think of the movie?
I'll say, a lot of what you guys said kind of parallels a lot of my own thoughts in that, I'm glad it wasn't as atrocious as the trailers made it out to believe. I'll admit there was a part of me that was a little disappointed in that it wasn't as bad as I was led to believe, because it would have been nice to have some riffing material.
You really did want to be a dumpster fire.
Well, in a sense of you know how people swear by The Room in spite of it being a terrible movie? I was kind of wanting it to be My Room, if that makes sense.
I get you.
Fair enough.
But
I'm
it's
gonna do this, sorry.
But aside from that,
I mean, you know what? I'll give you this much. At least you're taking this better than Arlo took Sonic.
that's fair.
Yeah, you know what?
But
That's absolutely true. Go ahead.
But that being said, it's I was impressed with it. I was surprised how up until that villain reveal, the humor was surprisingly consistent. There actually were a few moments that did get us chuckling here and there, and yeah, a lot of the things that are bad that they mentioned are bad. A lot of the things that are good, as I mentioned. I do want to bring up one thing, though. It's an epiphany that I had after we watched the movie, and I shared it around online, and a surprising amount of people agreed with me on it, and I'm kind of glad that a lot of people thought I was in the right when I say this, but it's like, when you really think about, like, the entire premise of the Chip and Dale movie, like, you really think about it, this feels like it'd be better suited for Bonkers than it would Chip and Dale.
And, I mean, yeah, you're right.
Especially since
because the whole thing about, they play up Chip and Dale to be these washed up actors who've sort of moved on with their lives, even though it's like Chip and Dale aren't really that. They may not be the strongest of the Mickey Mouse group of friends and whatnot, but they still have their fans. Bonkers, on the other hand.
Yeah, it's like, that's the weird, and it's like, if you don't mind, I have like a checklist of things with it. It's like,
absolutely. Oh, no, don't worry. We're actually coming up to the final level of the game.
Okay, so, first off, that's a good point that you make, James. The fact of them being, like, washed-up cartoon actors and whatnot. In this world that, like, has humans and cartoons coexisting, it's like, they obviously had to, like, make a lot of, like, liberties and compromises in order to make this work within the context of Chip and Dale, whereas with Bonkers, the concept of humans and cartoons living together is already, like, a pre-established part of the lore in that series, so it wouldn't have been that hard to adapt. And plus, like, the adventure that you go through, like, stopping this Toon crime boss from basically making all these bootlegs and whatnot, I feel like is a bit more in line with an episode of Bonkers, considering that, like, well, for one, he himself is also a police officer, and just the nature of it sounds like something that'd be more akin to the show. And like we mentioned, like, the notion of, like, a washed-up actor, well, washed-up Toon getting redemption, I think does apply to Bonkers a lot more, because, like, I know you guys have said what you will about Chip and Dale themselves, but Rescue Rangers as a show, I'd argue is nowhere near as, like, obscure or forgotten as Bonkers is. It's
and
like,
again, Chip and Dale have their own Disney Plus show, the Chip and Dale Park Life, which I
will say for the record is a very decent show. I would recommend giving it a watch if you ever want something, something fun, lighthearted, and full of non-talkative humor.
It's mostly.
Oh yeah, it's very silent, and it's like, I'll admit there are some bits of the humor that are very, it's gonna sound off at first, but very French, but that's a lot of it has to do with the fact that apparently it was actually made by a French studio, to the point where Donald actually isn't voiced by Tony Ansamo in that show. He's actually voiced by, I guess, whoever voices him in, like, French dubs of Disney stuff.
Which is amusing, because I do know that Pluto's also in the majority of the show, and he's still voiced by Bill.
Right. And I mean, does someone else play him in French?
Nope. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, again, remember, this is primarily a show that relies more on its action than actual dialogue. Mm-hmm. So they like, it's pretty much universal. The voice acting is more or less universal.
Makes sense. Okay. So let's see.
But that being said.
But anyway, that being said, that's just like, the more I think about it, the more I realize is, like, this really does kind of, like, feel like a missed opportunity to make it, like, a Bonkers show, especially, like, when you think about it, like what I mentioned before and think about right now, it's like, not for nothing, there really was no reason to make it about Chip and Dale. Like, nothing about the way the story was written felt like it was tailor-made for that show specifically.
No, not really.
Which, I mean, granted, I will say this much, like, I feel like I might have brought this up already in the recording, but if not, if so, then I apologize. But the whole scheme at hand, like the whole thing of kidnapping a whole bunch of dudes, bootlegging them essentially, and just making pretty much profiting off it, that is 100% something Fat Cat would have done. Right. At least in the show, anyway. And, say if they did still, going with the whole idea that they already did, Fat Cat would have the perfect motivation, considering that, if they are as forgotten as they claim to be, I'm pretty sure Fat Cat would not have taken it very well.
No,
yeah.
Right.
So he's pretty much going to play up his role and actually become this big-time crime lord that actually does get shit done, and for better or worse.
And in support of Hype's thing as well, like, if it was Bonkers, I could even see, like, an entire, like, third act sad scene that could have happened, which is, like, maybe Bonkers gets, like, not framed, but maybe Bonkers makes a big mistake, and everyone finally faces him with the truth of, Bonkers, is this even a real crime we're investigating, or did you just make this all up just to try and be relevant again? You're not a real cop. You're just a cop on TV, and it's this whole thing of like.
Okay,
should
I
he
don't
actually
know
be-
if it goes so far as to like people thinking that he made it up, because that doesn't, from what I've seen of Bonkers, that doesn't really sound like something that'd
Okay.
be too in character for him.
Okay, then how about this? Well, no, not to say that they would, not to say that they think he did it.
Danger.
Not to say that they would think he did it, but that they would. Okay, then how about this? Better than okay, then perhaps a better display of this is that the big like third act sad scene would have been, "Hey, fat cat," as you are still transparent in the background. Maybe the whole like, go ahead.
Welcome, Rescue Rangers. You are currently talking to a holographic figure. I am well away from here, knowing full well that I do not want anything to do with your furry little shit.
I
And that's racist.
I am also a hologram. Do not. Anyway, it's just in general.
Sort of relevant considering we did have Ugly Sonic.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so I would say this, Hype, is that the third act sad scene, maybe that would be the part where Bonkers would have been like, he's like, Bonkers, you're not a real cop, you just played one on TV, and Bonkers is still trying to do the right, where it's like, his whole, like,
Okay, that I
confidence
guess.
and stuff gets, oh, what are we doing now?
Oh yeah, so welcome to the final boss of the game, the Fat Cat's giant robotic duplicate. Ooh.
Oh, I remember not liking this boss.
Look at how
This one
tiny
can
his
drag
hand
it.
is.
Yeah.
He'll hook you. This,
Actually, one thing I do want to bring up regarding the whole thing of, making more sense of Bonkers, movie. I mean, one other thing that does make me realize, technically the entire point of Bonkers, the movie, or the TV show, was that, wasn't it originally trying to be like an actual Roger Rabbit show?
yes.
I
Or
believe
could-
it was, but I guess I think it was intended to be a Roger Rabbit show, but I guess they changed it because I don't know if it was either a rights issue or because they just thought it would work better with an original character. But yes, I do believe that was the intention.
right.
Which, you know what, would actually make that whole doing the Roger Rabbit with Roger Rabbit seem a little more, better in that regard.
And
Yeah.
hot take, it would have made the whole have a human counterpart.
Dale,
make a
do
lot
this
more
for me.
sense.
Quick, take one for the team.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Yay!
You'll see why. See, now he's back. Now I'm gonna do this,
And we're back to fullish health.
Oh boy.
pretty much.
Yep, I know.
I mean, you
Saves
guys
us a
have
little
infinite
extra
life, so
time
should
and-
it really matter?
Well, if we were to die at the same time, because we were both at 1 health left,
Okay, that's fair.
we would have to restart the thing from phase 1.
We gotta do what we did back in our Kirby days. Remember
Dale, what are
me
you doing?
as I lived. Ah, damn. And because that's the other thing is that this boss can drag because you get such a rare opportunity to actually deal damage, and
Also, I just realized something.
Mhm.
I feel like because this is a bit where 2 players wasn't entirely intended, because the moment you died and I was just left by my lonesome, the frame rate actually reverted back to its normal state.
curse
So
you,
I was like,
big ass sprites.
Oh god, I actually wasn't expecting it to actually run this smoothly again.
Curse you, big ass sprites, and there you go. Uh-oh.
Well, that too.
But yeah, it's
Damn you thick,
Fat
dummy
boxes.
thick can opener cat.
I invented fat boxes.
You totally would say that too.
I'm merely built different. You would say that too. So I don't
Again, it just makes me wonder, like, if Fat Cat was more of a fully realized character, how would they play him off in such a scenario?
even just I wonder if there's a deleted scene or something that would say, hey, this
Yeah,
is
like-
where Fat Cat was. Like maybe they'll do the freaking There'll Be Brawl thing where maybe they where they think he's the one who did it, but then when they finally find him, he's just like a monk who has found Zen and stuff.
You know what I really want to see, because it's like,
Oh,
what's up?
never mind.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't realize he was actually going to move all the way there. Okay, so you have to do it from the front.
It has to hit
Okay.
him in the head.
But yeah, it's like, you know what? Not for nothing. I really would love to see if there would be someone ballsy enough to leak whatever is salvageable of that first draft, because, like, the more I think about it, the more I am, like, genuinely curious to see if that first draft really was as bad as, like, test audiences made it out to be.
We don't know. We unfortunately don't know, and yeah, this is kind of lame when he just does this all the time.
But yeah, just going on to, real quick, going back to my thoughts on the movie,
I
it's
know,
like,
you got time. Look at this, like freaking. Ow.
oh boy.
Yeah,
Stupid.
yeah. Now you got
Wow.
plenty of time now. So,
Oh, hang on, throw it at him and see if that counts.
whoa. Are you noticing that, James? That like, when you're picking me up and I'm no longer considered like an actual active entity, then everything kind of speeds up, and then the minute I'm able to move on my own accord.
Huh.
Well, it did for a brief moment, but then it just went right back to slowing down. So I don't know what the heck was going on there.
Me neither,
It's me.
Back to you, Hype.
But yeah, just overall final thoughts. It was better than I expected to. I would only recommend it if you're just like absolutely curious to see how it turns out. If you're not too keen on it, especially after what was said about the villain, I totally understand why you wouldn't want to, but I'll say like I did not fully regret seeing it, if that makes sense.
I think that's fair.
Whoop. That was probably not one of our smarter ideas.
Nah, I'll be honest.
What could you have done?
I'll be honest. I did not think this plan through at that point. Hey, look at our noses have become one. I don't know. I'm blanking out, dude.
This is no time to go Eskimo kissing, stupid.
Only other thing, the last thing I'll say about the movie is that, like, Darkwing's on the money. We want Darkwing.
I do want Darkwing, and I do want that afternoon fighting game.
Yeah, the afternoon fight fest. Yes, please.
Actually,
Yeah,
did look pretty
that
fun.
would be funny. Like, not even just with the Disney afternoon. Like, I'm genuinely shocked that Disney has not tried to cash in on that Smash clone, like, hot business that Nick and Warner Brothers
You
have
pick it
been
up.
going into.
Oh, give it time. They'll likely fuck it up.
Yeah. Oh,
I had to do it for the greater good.
Ah.
it was for the good of humanities.
Save the world. My final message. Okay, so how about this? Different topics while we're waiting for this boss to die. Voice acting performances?
I thought they were fine.
They were okay. I didn't care too much for the majority of them, aside from J.K. Simmons as the not Gumby cop thing, and again, Trust coming back as Gadget.
That was nice. I did like the...
Oh, and whoever they got to give Zipper a voice, I thought that was
Oh,
kinda humorous.
all I know is that he is the spokesperson for Allstate.
Right.
Really.
Allstate Insurance.
Yeah, he's
I
that
mean-
guy. He's Kilowog in the Justice League DC Animated Universe show. He was also Master Ox in the Kung Fu Panda movies.
Oh.
So close. What else is there? Oh, and then also, I'll admit, I don't know if they were trying, I don't know if they wanted the Swedish Chef for that role, but I did get a fun little kick out of the, oh yes, I sell the cheese. Do you sell stinky cheese? You guys cops.
That whole scene in general was definitely something else.
Yeah, oh, the whole idea of this Main Street USA thing where apparently the mom from Phineas and Ferb actually was involved in like a huge like drug ring or something, and then that
Muppet
little girl was
fights.
involved in Muppet fights. I don't know. There was a lot. I feel like there was a lot of things that are being tossed back and forth, and I don't know how much of the plan actually was thought through. But
Yeah, it's like it's honestly, I'll definitely echo what James says and kind of like say it on my own. It's like this movie definitely has like a lot of interesting ideas. Like a lot of what they try to talk about, I actually think would make for a really fun, like meta take on animation. Like this is something that I actually would not mind seeing in a film of this caliber. The execution, on the other hand, I know is a lot more subjective.
Right. Because, and I think, I know some people have brought it up and they've said it best. It's like, the difference between this and Roger Rabbit is that Roger Rabbit wasn't trying too hard to use the references as a means to forward its plot or its sense of character.
oh, it's original plot with Roger, the Weasels, Judge Doom, Jessica, like all that, like that was the center stage, like point of everything.
I mean, all the other cameos were great and all, and I think it does definitely help heighten the film to what it is. But I don't think that's what ultimately made it as like the absolute best film that it could be. Like it definitely needed something to use as something else to have as like a sort of
Well,
You
no,
guys-
I would say it was leaning way too heavily on this thing. It didn't have anything. You feel like the movie didn't have much to stand on its own two legs.
It really just it pretty much is like waving at a car key, but replace the car keys with just IPs to reference.
Yeah, it's like
It's Ready Player
I think
One.
a good way to say it is that like it wanted to be like Roger Rabbit without understanding why Roger Rabbit worked.
And instead it fell right
Which is
into
funny
Ready
because
Player One.
I think the Chip and Dale movie was supposed to be like they wanted it to be an actual Roger Rabbit sequel, but Disney said no, I guess.
Yeah. Which also, I forget, one of you guys told me that apparently I think it was actually in this, I think it was either last night or was in this commentary as we speak, but wasn't there like someone who penned up an actual like sequel script to Roger Rabbit?
I know that was something that they worked on for the longest time. Like, I don't remember a lot of the details. The only thing that really stuck out to me was that, like, in that old script for a Roger Rabbit sequel, they were actually going to have a plot twist where apparently Roger was actually the son of Bugs Bunny.
I also remember that, you know,
Oh no, Chip and Dale are dead.
we've lost the lads forever. I'm so sad. Hey guys.
Never mind, we're here.
What we missed?
Why, you big fraud, you!
You're phony. Anyway, I remember now. It wasn't you guys. It was with another friend on a call where apparently this sequel script was made, but it wasn't even for that Disney didn't want to do it. It was because Disney was, I guess, getting really bad negative optics for Jessica Rabbit at the time, like the sexualization and stuff. So they wanted to step away from that, even though there is still a theme park ride in the kiddie section of Disneyland that has Jessica Rabbit and Roger Rabbit in that ride.
Well, didn't
Seriously,
they give Jessica like the less sexualized outfit for that ride?
No, she's still wearing the red dress. The only difference is that, as opposed to singing at a lounge, she now has a mallet. Actually, no. There's a scene where she's being kidnapped and stuffed into a trunk, bound up.
Okay, I could have sworn that there was a ride where they gave her a new outfit.
I'll double check that, but I don't know, man.
But I don't know. Either way, I do think that's kind of that's just
You're
who
saying.
cares at that point? It's Jessica Rabbit. It's like sure she might be a lot. She might be a little. She might be big out sex appeal, but she was more than that.
There was fun to that. Like the fun. They did the cool subvert expectations. In any case, hey Zipper, you gonna do the thing?
I'll say hey there, Zipper. Oh yeah, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, that right there is the end of the game.
Yay.
That's literally it.
It's just Fat Cat gets away. You don't actually catch him, and it's left to interpretation of will we beat him, and this is the last game they ever made.
Yep, I want to say like up until the movie, this is like one of the last things to really utilize the Rescue Rangers IP in general.
Oh, which
Yeah, it's
actually, which also, to its credit, shout out to the game for including footage of I think the first game in the movie.
Yeah.
Which is cute enough. I mean, actually no. What am I saying? I almost forgot. Technically, Chip and Dale and their Rescue Rangers attire technically did return for that Walt Disney World Racing Tour thing that you showed us a while back.
Oh, yeah, that.
Which
Yeah,
I
there
still
was also
enjoyed
that,
that,
and
but-
I could have sworn that they did have like a comic run at some point.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they did, considering I remember DuckTales also getting similar treatment, which is kind of funny thinking about, considering I want to say the whole Uncle Scrooge comic line is still going to this day.
Oh, it is like the Scrooge comics have been like going since well past. Not 100 years, that'd be stupid, but they've gone on for a while.
100 more years of Scrooge McDuck.
So yeah, now that we're actually here at the very end, ladies and gentlemen, well, I should more so forward this to Logan and Hyde. Do you guys have any closing thoughts before we wrap things up?
Go watch Roger Rabbit.
I hope that Darkwing reboot that they teased here and there doesn't suck.
Please don't let it suck. I want it to.
Please.
I want it to work out, but yeah, I got nothing else. Just the movie was okay. It wasn't horrible. It wasn't a huge dumpster fire. Maybe that's why we didn't have as much to talk about it. Ignore my 2/3 of the commentary, but maybe that's what.
That's the majority of the commentary, man.
Maybe there's nothing else to it, but it was a movie, and I apart from the Peter Pan thing, give it 2 to 3 years. We won't be talking about it ever again.
Oh, man, now that just makes me think back to the age-old question of, what if a Goofy movie was just a movie?
Whoa.
A game.
Okay. On that note, we'll see you all next time.
And
A commentary.